All right, I thought this was an interesting group of hitters. Guys who weighed less than 200 pounds and hit 600 or more home runs. You know that, to be in this group, you have to be doing something mechanically that is very correct. It's real hard to be in this group and not be mechanically very sound. They're getting the most out of their body weight. So the first one we'll go through is Hank Aaron. As everyone knows, Aaron hit 755. And let's take a look at Aaron's mechanics or stats. So OPS plus of 155. Another thing that's interesting is all these guys had really good batting averages. So often people just assume that you need to sacrifice power for consistency. And I'm just not seeing it. These are out of all these guys, I believe Ken Griffey Jr. is the heaviest and has the least amount of home runs of the three and the lower batting average of the three, the lowest batting average. This whole idea that you need to sacrifice power for consistency or vice versa, I just don't see it. Hank Aaron had a career batting average of 305. That's better than Pete Rose. And Pete Rose, people think of Pete Rose as like, the consistency guy. So that's something that I'm always trying to convey out there is don't feel like it's a big sacrifice of consistency to swing the style of swing that I advocate. We're talking about, I'm looking at the guys, I'm looking at consistency just as much as anyone else. And a lot of people, they look at the pound for pound equation and they think that it's void of consistency. It's not void of consistency. These guys consistently hit home runs. They're squaring up the barrel very consistently. So, I just don't, I think that the main thing is great hitters, the best hitters, consistently hit the ball hard. That's it. And once in a while, you're going to get a home run. It's almost like a home run is a mistake, but it doesn't really matter. The key is that you're delivering the most possible force to the ball on a consistent basis. So I don't really separate out average and power. I think that with yes, there is another style of swing that pretty much only optimizes consistency. I just don't think that route is a prudent way to go about it. And these guys are proof that it doesn't really matter your size. Your goal should be to hit the ball as consistently as possible with the most possible force, and that's it. So 305 batting average, 755 home runs. What a beast this guy was. An average of an OPS average over his career of 155. I always find it interesting. Some of these monster hitters, sometimes they only have one MVP award, like Babe Ruth is another one, but it looks like Hank Aaron is one too. Oftentimes hit over 300. Led the league in 56. Led the league in 59 with a 355 batting average. This whole idea, guys, that you need to sacrifice power for consistency, it's just a myth. And with a certain swing style, you can pretty much optimize both. So let's go to look at his swing here. This is his 700 and I don't know. You guys will probably know. Was it the one to beat Ruth? I think it was the one to beat Ruth. But let's look how much his head moves. This is what I think about when I think of Hank Aaron. Look at the head movement. Look at the head movement, mate. That is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous I get an Australian accent when I look at it. Look at that. It moves like, I don't know, at least a foot and a half. It could be 2 feet. And hitters of today are hanging back on that back leg, and the head hardly moves at all. Can you imagine? Hank Aaron would definitely not have the same amount of home runs if he wasn't moving like this. And guys say that, well, you can't be as quick to the ball. I'm just wondering why. Why can't you start your movement before you know if you're going to swing at the pitch? Why do you have to be completely still before you know if you're going to swing at the pitch in order to be as fast as possible to the pitch? I don't know, but that's what swing instruction is teaching right now, and everyone's on board with the you-know-what method out there. And it's, keeping your head back or weight back and keeping your head from moving. I just don't think it's a good idea. A little bit of a bat tip there Aaron had, mostly in the hands it looks like. It's neither here nor there for the most part. The key is at this point is he's getting some weight into it. You don't have to get a whole bunch of weight into it, but if you want more power, you probably want to, that's where you probably there's a little bit of risk reward give and take there. If you want more power, you might have to shift a little bit more weight, but you're going to maybe be off on timing maybe a little bit more. So maybe there is a little bit of a compromise, but you certainly don't have to move your head as much as Hank Aaron does. You don't have to shift as much weight, but look at how much he is shifting weight. That's just very interesting. I tend to lean towards go ahead and gamble. Go ahead and gamble. You get 3 strikes. You get more swings if you're hitting foul balls. You get plenty of chances. Go ahead and gamble. I mean, you are not going to be on every swing. It's almost like hitting is so much of a contest of, can you just let it go? And can you just not give yourself such a hard time for swinging and missing? Allow that to happen. Ruth didn't care at all about that stuff. I've read enough of his biographies to know that he just didn't care. He didn't care about his past at-bats. And I think a large reason why he didn't care is because his mechanics were so good. He knew that the averages would average out for him, in favor of him. So this positioning, it's kind of hard to see his arms, but the barrel's obviously starting to really flatten here. And then look how connected he is at contact. Now, the moving of the weight forward is in large part allowing him to be that connected at contact. If you hang back on your back leg, then you're going to have to push out with your hands. What else is going to hit the ball? You see how it's a little bit of a, if this doesn't move, well, then something else has to come in and pitch in, right? A lot of swing mechanics is that way. And he's able to achieve this extremely connected position at contact. And by the way, I mean, there's no backward movement in Hank Aaron's swing. We need to get more of this in today's swing. We are so sold on the you-know-what theory of the swing that people are just hanging back like crazy. And we're not getting as much power as we should be. We're losing against teams that have less than half the population of the U.S. And this is our pastime. This is our sport. And I think so much of it is, I know it seems like it's oversimplifying it, but I don't think it is. I think it almost is entirely the way we are teaching the swing. We need to shift our weight. Look at how much weight he's getting into it. Watch it. Look, there's no backward movement. He's pushing through with his torso into the hit. You saw this same sort of action with Sadahara O, who also got a tremendous, he's the Hank Aaron of Japan, and he got as much of his body weight into it too. I believe he was around 180 in body weight. Here's another view of Aaron showing how much of his body he just pushes into the ball. Look at that. And, he's not hitting a strike here. And he's hitting it so many people say, well, with your style swing, how would you hit the high and inside pitch? Look, Aaron's doing it. I mean, let's this whole idea of like, how would you hit this pitch if you employed this particular swing style? You can hit any pitch with any swing style. And what is the fascination with that whole idea in swing instruction of like, you have to be able to hit all kinds of pitches with your swing. So make sure you structure your swing to hit all sorts of pitches. It's just BS. I mean, what are we talking about here? You know, a difference that doesn't even. You think Hank Aaron even know? I mean, does this even look like he's hitting a high and inside pitch right here? Like, just hit the ball as hard as you can, but employ the best possible swing mechanics. And people think of swing mechanics as like if it's the best possible swing mechanics, then it's real tight and everything is moving very stiff and geometrically sound. No. The best swing mechanics is something like Aaron, who's very, it almost looks sloppy, but he's doing what matters. He's doing what matters, and he's adjusting to all different kinds of pitches. And he hits this one well out in front and sends that one, I'm sure, over the yard. Here he is. This is a great angle that I recently posted on Instagram because it showed the real big move that separates, that is missing from today's swing. And that is like a shift of the weight, a thrusting of the torso into contact. And like, look, his head isn't really on the ball. Oh no, he's not mechanically sound. Who cares if your head is down at the ball? Who cares? Like, haven't we established that you don't see the last 10 feet of the ball traveling anyways? Who really cares? Rotate through contact. Open the front shoulder. I mean, here he is hitting the ball, looks like to the opposite field, and he's just rotating towards third base hard. And he's getting a lot of his body weight into it. If Little League coaches saw a kid swinging like this, they would absolutely coach it out of him. Nice and well connected there at contact. Now we have Willie Mays. Let's go to Willie Mays' stats. So 170, by the way. Willie Mays is the lightest of the three here. And here again, a 301 batting average. There is no need to sacrifice power for consistency or vice versa. 660 home runs, weighing just 170. Probably got up to about 180 as his career went on. Maybe 185, who knows. But they didn't gain weight like guys do today back then. So let's go through Mays' swing here. As you can see, kind of an Albert Bell casting of the bat move there. He doesn't get a whole lot of bat lag as he goes into the forward swing. Front arm compressed up against his body for the most part at this point. And there you can see, I think, a key position in the swing. You want to be in a position here like you see in Mays, where the barrel has flattened completely. If we go back to Aaron, I was going to point out that look at the barrel actually goes below parallel. You know, a lot of people say that that's a no-no. You saw Josh Donaldson even say when he was saying the key move is the flattening of the barrel. He says, but you don't want it to flatten too much. See, again, people are just too inculcated in this idea of not dropping the barrel behind you, and not, it's hard for people to actually go to the complete opposite side. But the fact is there's nothing wrong with the barrel dropping below parallel at this point. Look how low it is here. You see this in Ted Williams, you see it in Babe Ruth, you see it in Mike Schmidt. These guys drop the barrel at this point real low. Look at Ted Williams if you guys want to see that. Ted Williams really, in a lot of his swings, you can clearly see that he drops the barrel, and it drops way below parallel at this point. And then as he goes towards contact, he straightens it out. And it's like it might even provide an extra slap into the hit in some way. So a little bit of a casting move, it looks like, by Mays. Key position right here where the back arm is just nice and by his side. You know, it's not overexerting. It's almost in that, it's in sort of that just tucked position. And for the most part, if you could step inside Mays' swing, he would be feeling the front side pulling. That's the reason why the front arm progression is so valuable. These guys felt more than other hitters the front side pulling rather than the back arm pushing. It's not that they felt no back arm pushing. It's just they felt a lot less. And here he is at contact. I wish I had better video of Mays. If you guys can find any better video from the side, that'd be great. But look how connected he is here. And then goes into a nice wide finish. Very aggressive with the finish. Another move that we are missing in today's swing. Go ahead and finish the swing hard. Go all the way around. And here he is from another angle. A very aggressive weight shift into the ball. Not crazy. Not an irresponsible amount of weight shift necessarily. But I think everyone out there, all you guys could try going to the other extreme and shift a lot of weight. And you're going to find that, yeah, maybe you're out in front of some pitches. Maybe you need to work on the secondary cushion. But maybe try being okay with being off on timing. The problem is people get off on timing with a big weight shift, and then they quickly, get scared and they start not shift. I don't want to be off on timing on any pitch. I want to be on time on every single pitch. You just, in that respect, you're going to have to shift some weight, learn a secondary cushion for sure, but also just be okay. Be more okay with being off on your timing. The point of hitting is not to never miss a pitch or never be off on timing. The point is, over the course of a season, that you've produced a high level of power with a high level of consistency. And you're going to have to accept the misses to do that. Look at that. Would you say his head is starting to rotate and he's not looking at the pitch? Sure looks like it to me. And he's just rotating into it. Here he is at contact. Looks like he's pulling his head. Looks like he's pulling the shoulder out. And then we get to Griffey. Let's go to Griffey and see his stats. So Griffey, probably of the three hitters, you'd have to say he's the least accomplished, which is crazy. But, Griffey fought a lot of injuries. .155 OPS plus for Hank Aaron and .155. I didn't know that. They both have the same OPS plus. Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. I would say about a level and a half better than Ken Griffey Jr. I think every 10 points of OPS plus is about a level of hitting. And I think OPS plus is the best measurement of a hitter's overall value at the plate. So Griffey, 14 points less than, 19 points less than Aaron and Mays. Pretty significant. That's almost 2 full levels. Pretty crazy. And I'd have to say the difference might be in his consistency. If he had like a 301 to 305 batting average, I think that would probably put him up in the other guy's category in terms of OPS plus. But also, again, the weighs the most out of the three. So let's take a look at his swing. But I think, hitting is more than just a swing contest. And I think Griffey showed us the pretty much the best possible way to swing. Um, and you can see here, not as much weight shift maybe, but still he's getting some weight to that front side. Nice long front arm. And really the mechanics are very similar between Aaron, Mays, and Griffey. And here's that position that I was talking about in Mays, where the back arm is just, again, just down by your side. Front arm nice and pretty straight. And the barrel flat. Almost like it's feeling like it's coming from your back hip almost. And again, the front side pulling is happening more than the backside pushing. And then he just rotates into it. Beautifully connected at contact. And then extends well after contact. Here's a top view of Griffey. And a lot of people, you know, they have all sorts of arguments for barring the front arm. They say, how are you going to hit it the inside pitch? How are you going to go the other way? You're only going to pull the ball. You're only going to come around the ball. Are people just not looking at any film at all? I don't know where's their reasoning? What's their evidence for that? I don't know. But here he is going the other way. And you can see, just like with Hank Aaron's swing, he's going the other way, but still the same basic swing on the ball. He's just hitting it at a certain point that makes it go the other way, but it's still the same basic swing. Maybe he halts his rotation a little bit early. But there is absolutely no reason why you can't hit the ball the other way with a barred out arm or a more body controlled swing that I teach, or you can't hit the inside pitch or the whatever. I just think that those are the other argument that I often hear along those lines is, well, that'll work at that level, but not at this level. And that's BS too. Do you think Ken Griffey Jr. learned this swing because it wasn't working at the lower levels? And I'm sure he got a lot of people saying, well, that's working at the high school level, but you're going to have to change at the major league level. In fact, somebody I think recently showed me a scouting report of Griffey. And it said something to that effect. That, you know, he tends to, I don't know, get long in his swing, I think were the words. We know what long in his swing means. We know you're talking about the front arm. Why don't you just say it? Why are people, without video, people are just so obscure and ambiguous in how they speak. Like, he's long in his swing. And it's like, just say it. He's long in his front arm, and I don't think it's going to work at the major league level. That's what the guy said in his scouting report of Griffey. But look, if it works at the little league level, it's probably going to work at the higher levels. I know that doesn't. People are going to disagree with that, and people like to kind of act like they're in the know. And I know something you don't, and that might work at that level, but it's not going to work when you get up to the levels that I've seen. It's BS, man. It's BS. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Look, obviously, it's real interesting to me. There's an industry that seems like it's on completely the wrong page. And I think that what's exciting about that is that means that what's coming soon is at some point, whether it's me or somebody else who brings it about, is some sort of revolution within this industry, the baseball swing instruction industry. And it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. But right now, common wisdom is like 180 degrees off. It's real interesting. So, look, I'm just bringing these videos out. I'm going to edit a little bit less because it doesn't allow me to really get as much information as I want out there fast enough. And I think you all need to need to hear some of this stuff, that swing instruction is just not on the right page. And I think the more information that I can get out, the faster I can get it out, the better. Look, I may not be saying things that you want to hear. You may have invested a lot of time and money into a method that is the conventional method, and you might not want to hear what I have to say. But a lot of people have been reaching out and saying that it's working. What I'm teaching is working. A lot of people were incredulous, and they even tell me that. They say, I saw you on YouTube and I thought, what is this guy talking about? And then they slowly change. And so it's looking like we are changing the battleship direction with a wooden oar, but it is still turning. And at some point, the floodgates are going to open. It's going to take probably guys working at the higher level on what I'm talking about, and that is happening. And I'm going to have some results for you guys at some point. But anyways, I thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you next time.